Why should you buy the Xperia 1 Mark 6 instead of the Galaxy S24 Ultra? To answer this question, I'm going to compare the battery life, performance, thermals, features, and camera capability of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 and compare it to the Galaxy S24 Ultra to see which one is a better choice. I am more a scientist and I will do my best to test everything in an equal condition. My previous phone was Xperia 5 Mark 5 before I upgraded to S24 Ultra, and I am very familiar with both Sony and Samsung phones. Let's start with features. Galaxy S24 Ultra has two awesome and unique features. One is the S Pen and the other is the anti-reflective display. On the other hand, Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 with its mouthful name has an SD card that helps a lot in storing videos and music, and also has a headphone jack plus a dedicated shutter button. This difference also shows each company's philosophy. Samsung is much more focused on displays, while Sony is a camera company that is ruling the market with the Sony Alpha series. Speaking of design, the Sony fingerprint scanner is on the side, which is pretty cool. I love this on my Sony Xperia 5 Mark 5, it makes it much easier to bring your phone out. This year Xperia 1 Mark 6 is not as narrow, but it is still narrower than the Galaxy S24 Ultra. The Sony Xperia also has a super nice textures on the back, and the phone has a nice grip, unlike the S24 Ultra. But S24 Ultra has a titanium, which supposedly is more durable. Let's move on to battery life. Both ones have a 5000 mAh battery, and I charge both of them to 100%. Both of them are on Full HD resolution to have a fair comparison. They are both connected to the same 5G network during the test. I first ran some YouTube shorts for around half an hour. Xperia 1 Mark 6 got to 31 degrees Celsius, which is 87.8 Fahrenheit, while Samsung S24 Ultra got to 33 Celsius, which is 91.5 Fahrenheit. To test the overheating of the phones, I ran 4K 60 frames per second with default camera apps. With the front-facing camera, Samsung S24 Ultra was always a few degrees hotter than Sony Xperia and also dimmed the screen. After around half an hour, Xperia 1 Mark 6 got to 42 degrees Celsius, which is 107 Fahrenheit, and Samsung S24 Ultra got to 43.5 Celsius, which is 110 Fahrenheit. I noticed that Xperia got a bit laggy though, so either the CPU clock rate is dropping heavily or the phone forced itself to go to a lower refresh rate. By the end of the test, Sony Xperia is 89% and Samsung Galaxy is 86%. I went for an hour's walk, turned on the GPS on both phones. One thing I noticed is that in bright sunlight, both phones are bright enough, even though the Galaxy S24 anti-reflective screen is more awesome. It is the first Sony phone I have that has a brighter screen. I arrived home after 2 hours to test the performance. Both phones come with the latest and the best chipset, which is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and 12GB of RAM. These days you kinda need that sweet 12GB RAM due to AI processing that are going to the background. Multiple times I noticed S24 Ultra is using more than 8GB of RAM in my measurements. Even though both phones on paper have a same SoC, it doesn't always mean the performance is similar because the performance also depends on cooling and other components on the phones, including the storage. That's why I ran the AnTuTu test. During AnTuTu test, Galaxy S24 scored 1.6 million, while Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 scored 1.4 million. Sony stayed 3 degrees cooler. For the storage speed test again, Samsung did a better job with 153K, while Xperia scored 136K. By the end of all of the tests that I've conducted, Xperia had 66% battery left, while Samsung had 59% battery left. It seems Xperia is doing a better job with optimization in the background even when both phones are on Full HD+. The smaller screen also helps. Xperia is better at thermal management too, but the Samsung S24 Ultra has a better performance. Comparing the displays is another point. Reddit went crazy when they realized that Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 not only is not 4K but not QHD+ either. Both of them are LTPO, which means the screen adopts. For PVM, I don't have a device to exactly measure it, but based on my simple test by playing with the camera shutter speed, it seems that Xperia 1 Mark 6 is worse than S24 Ultra. In a video, I've seen the PVM of Xperia is 240 versus 480 on S24 Ultra, and 240 is, to put it mildly, bad PVM for PVM sensitive folks. For comparison, the Xperia 1 Mark 5 had 390 Hz. One area that Xperia 1 Mark 6 shines is audio. For one, it has a dedicated headphone jack, which has a high quality too. Other than that, the speakers on Xperia phones are always much better than other flagships in my opinion, and the Xperia 1 Mark 6 is no exception. The picture is a stronghold of Sony. I love my Sony Alpha camera, which by the way I can use the Xperia phones as a monitor and viewfinder and also live stream with it. Starting from the app itself, ironically, the camera app Samsung gives many more options compared to Xperia 1 Mark 6. For example, in the Video Pro mode of Samsung, I can adjust ISO and white balance, while for Xperia I only have access to shutter speed. Also, I found the new Sony Camera App buggy and borderline unusable when it comes to videography. For example, for some reason in low light setting, there is this weird flickering going on when I'm shooting video on the Xperia phone. Also, the video always stops a few seconds after you hit the stop button, which makes you extremely frustrated. Another example that I took was the video of this girl singing a beautiful song in the U-Bahn in Karlsplatz in Vienna. I have no idea what is going on with the Xperia phone, but the frame rate is suffering horribly. All of these issues show the camera app is buggy. I really hope Sony fixes them ASAP. This happens when you scrap 3 useful camera apps and create a new one in a matter of a few months. When the video mode works though, the videos are insanely good on Xperia. I just love them. The first shot is in the portrait mode. I love the colors and everything on the Xperia. On the second shot, I feel S24 Ultra overexposed, while Xperia did a better job. Both one can also take 100 frames per second videos, which can be used later to slow the footage to have a bit of a dramatic effect if that's what you are looking for, as Sam and I try to showcase here. When it comes to zoom level, S24 Ultra blows the Xperia away. Sometimes I feel like it is illegal to be able to zoom like this with the S24 Ultra. The details that the S24 Ultra can capture on 10 times zoom are borderline insane, especially on such a small body. Even though the colors on the Xperia 1 Mark 6 are more accurate, I really enjoy the dynamic range of the S24 Ultra and the amount of details it captures, even though it is denoising the hell out of the image. Another thing I noticed is Xperia does not do a great job when your hand shakes even a little bit and the result is blurry pictures. For normal pictures, this is the wide lens 1 photo, this one is the main lens, this one is the telephoto, and this one is super lens. And this is the same photo but at night. I also did a quick photo shoot of Sam. This is Sam for reference. Her skin tone is very natural and she has a light brown hair with a bit of a red tone to it. I feel like Xperia did a better job when it comes to portraits. There was a problem though that you probably noticed I didn't take the same portrait shots here. The reason is that for some reason sometimes the touch capture button doesn't work with the Xperia camera app. Honestly, I don't know if it is just my incompetence or if there is a bug. I should investigate more into that, but anyway, I missed many great shots on the Xperia. I'm doing a deep review of Xperia 1 Mark 6 this week, so subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. The last point is the software. Xperia phones have a vanilla Android that is very close to Pixel phones, while Samsung has OneUI. I personally prefer the UI of Xperia since it does not come with tons of bloatware and it is more intuitive. Samsung offers 7 years of software support, while Xperia offers 3 years. So which one is better phone? For me, Galaxy S24 Ultra is a more customer-centric phone. It is a better phone for 95% of users. It has a great spec and great display, and I love using the S Pen. Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6 is a photo enthusiastic phone, even though the camera app right now is buggy with a dedicated shutter button, SD card, and headphone jack, which by the way also works as an input and not only output, making the workflow of content creator much easier, and also has great battery life and thermals. Also, another perspective is that Sony phones are unique. I have carried them for as long as 15 years and people always ask me about this phone since it is so unique and I just like to show them off. I'm going to do a full review of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6. Let me know in the comments what you want me to test. It will pop up here when the video is ready. Or you can watch the long-term review of the S24 Ultra here. Thanks for tuning in to TechMo and I will see you in the next one.